If you were homeless and you could write a letter to Donald Trump, what would you say? I was actually having a conversation with someone earlier this week, and I was saying how we need to use our connections to get the word up to Donald Trump that homeless camps are not a good idea. It's not going to solve the problem. And, in my research and trying to understand this problem a little bit more, I'm finding out that we've gone from like $3 billion being put towards the homeless issue in 2022-23 to now in 2025, we're putting $10 billion towards the homeless issue. And the thing is, I understand it from a societal standpoint, as we've been throwing money at this problem for so long that, we're not seeing any results. And instead of looking within and figuring out why we're not getting results, what we're going to do is just go to the other knee-jerk reaction, which is, let's just throw them all in camps. They don't want to help themselves anyways. And is that really the truth? And so, I mean, I've been chronically homeless for the last 25 years. In the last 2 years, almost 3 years that I've been out here on the streets, one of the things that I can say in my observation is that homelessness has drastically changed from the way it was when I first came out. When I first came out, it was a lot of millennials that were, being kicked out of the house for various reasons, who were trying to figure out, how to find their way in life. And now it's much different. I mean, we are facing an economic crisis that is affecting everybody. So when we start thinking about, hey, we're going to throw people in homeless camps, well, the types of people that we're throwing in there, or that we're going to end up throwing in there, that are being caught up in all of this, are senior citizens. How are senior citizens getting caught up in this? It's pretty simple. Rent goes up. Their income isn't going up. They're on Social Security disability or Social Security retirement. Their rental increase isn't going to go up. They're living hand to mouth to begin with, because they're getting a fraction of what they used to make back in the day. And how long have they been retired? So you're seeing a lot of senior citizens that are becoming homeless, and these are the people that we're going to be throwing in camps. Grandma and grandpa, and our brothers and our sisters who are on disability, that through no fault of their own can't actually afford a place to live. So therefore, they end up getting lumped in with the homeless. Also, you have the working class. A lot of the working class could be thrown into these camps as well. Why? How? Well, with inflation, with the cost of rent going up, the cost of food going up, with everything that's going up, people's incomes are not going up. If you actually go look at the employment statistics, right now it says that the foreign-born worker is getting wage increases, and they are the preferred worker over the native-born worker, who is actually getting wage decreases. So if you were born here in America and you want to go get a job and get a livable income, well, you can't necessarily do that. You're going to be forced to choose. Do I pay an absorbent amount of rent, or do I and not eat, or do I eat and not pay rent, or figure out a more creative way to live? And so these people are also becoming homeless, because through no fault of their own, because they're not the ones managing government policy. We elected our politicians to be able to do this. And so now we have to pay the price for their screw up, and now we're being treated as the enemy here. And then not only that, remember the shutdowns in 2020? How many small businesses did we lose? I managed to keep my business above ground for about another year before I ended up having to close my doors. We lost 500,000 businesses, small business owners. That's millions of people that could be employed. We have lost those small business owners because of the cataclysm from the shutdowns that we had. So we had all these different things that are pulling at it, making the everyday citizen, the everyday Joe, homeless. And now all of a sudden, in our effort to be able to solve the issue, we're going to start calling them lazy drug addict bums who will never go get a job, and they're nothing but a drain on the system. So let's go ahead and throw them into camps. Are you really wanting to throw grandma into the camp? Are you really wanting to throw your family members into camp? They may be working, but they can't afford a place to live, so therefore they have no right to participate in society. This is essentially what is being told to us with these camps. Okay, we've been throwing money at this problem. The the homeless industrial complex does not want to evolve. With the automation of the workforce, with advanced robotics, what do we got going on? That means that people are going to have to start transitioning into another section of the economy, because the menial jobs that we've been used to having since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution are now being automated through advanced robotics. Now the average Joe, he's losing his job through automation. Well, then you want to create these homeless programs that say, well, you got to go get a job that eventually will be automated within probably the next 5 years. And so how are you actually helping the homeless? They're failing to evolve because the digital economy is going to be where the native-born worker is able to go and to be able to survive, whether it be doing gig work, whether it be doing freelancing, whether it be subcontracting, whether it be influencing. There are so many different things that you can do in the digital economy that will allow you to survive and to be able to, get back to some semblance of the way that you used to live. But see, these are the problems. The numbers are getting skewed. We have all these senior citizens that are coming out, and these programs are setting up as housing first, and they're acting like they're getting people off the streets, but all they're doing is getting grandma off the streets. But the actual workers that you need to go out there and to pay taxes, because you need, what is it, like 2 or 3 workers to be able to support one person on Social Security. So we're getting these people on Social Security, we're getting them in a place, but those of us that can go out there and work and be productive members of society, we're being told, well, unless you have money, we can't help you. And then they want to go around and say, look, housing first, look at us, we're dropping the numbers. No, so many people are coming out, they can make it look like they're dropping the numbers, but the numbers are actually getting skewed. And the only way you're ever going to get help out here on the streets is if you fit into one of 3 boxes. Whether you have a criminal background, you're being reintegrated from prison or long-term jail, you have mental health issues, which now that's cross-pollinating into everything, because everything's now a mental health issue. This is how they're also disarming us. Okay, so you have a mental health issue, you have a criminal record, or you have a drug addiction. And usually mental health goes into drug addiction and over into the criminal element. And so now all of a sudden we've got big pharma and the medical industrial complex now starting to use and exploit the homeless, because now they know that there's all this free money that they can get. Where do you think that $10 billion is going? Is it going to help the homeless, or is it going to line the pockets of the medical industrial complex and all these other individuals or groups within the economy to exploit the homeless for their own profit and gain? Well, they're not actually helping us. Because here's the thing, this is the duty of government, is to protect us, the homeless, the minority, is to protect us from being exploited for profit and gain. When I had my janitorial business and the pandemic was raging on, I as my normal course of business, I was supposed to go in and disinfect. And I was, putting my services out for a COVID disinfecting service. Well, guess what? Google told me that I was unfairly exploiting a crisis, even though that was well within the realm and scope of duties in which I actually do. But the thing is, this is what's happening within the homeless industrial complex, is that we're being allowed to be exploited, but then anybody that wants to do any good, make any headway, is being kept out, because it's a good old boys club. Unless I can't even get a speakership unless I'm a not-for-profit. I'm having, in order to be able to go out and tell my story to the general public, to bring awareness that there's more than just drug addicts and criminals and junkies out here, that there's a lot more of us than there are of them. Well, it's, unless you're part of the good old boys club, you can't get anywhere. Not only that, it is the government's duty to be able to create opportunities. You want to sit there and manage and micromanage our economy, so therefore that duty and obligation goes on you. If you want to send us back to the free market, well, then there's endless opportunities. But because you want to be able to put us in a capitalistic market, which means that he who has the capital makes the rules, well, you're taking away all of our opportunities so that a few people are able to influence policy to enrich themselves while the rest of us got to pay for it. Okay? And also, not only that, it is the government's duty to offer safety and community. They want to offer, like in Florida, they want to give us they want to give us what's called the homeless camps. And, now you've got Donald Trump that wants to take the Florida system and take it national. What happened in 2008 with the Dignity Villages? Okay, the Dignity Villages started becoming overran with gangs and the whole criminal element. So after a while, if you're a regular Joe that just got caught up in the recession and you're just a casualty of economics, well, you've all lost your safety, your security, and now you're being put in a compromising position, which is going to either force you into the criminal element or into the drug element. And either way, how is the government benefiting people by not providing us safety and security? You could tell us to go to camps all day long, but if those camps are going to be ran by the gangs, that's more dangerous than if I were to sleep out on a street corner and have people gunning after me. Okay, so this is the duty of government. Okay, but what can the government actually do that will actually be beneficial to the homeless community and to society as a whole? Which is, we need to start implementing preventative measures. If you're going to stop homelessness, if you're going to end homelessness, what you need to do is you need to put in preventative measures, because there is a specific process, and I've got to see this in all my years of being off and on the streets, that there is a specific backslide that an individual does that gets them to a point where they become homeless. So if we're able to recognize those signs, we're able to intervene and actually, kind of right the ship for the individual so that they don't do that full backslide. Because some of us, we can handle certain things, but not other things. And when our reality is broken because we thought as long as we were a hard worker, we'd always have a job, we didn't realize that a robot could outwork us, it causes a lot of problems up here for the individual. Okay, so they need to work on, part of preventative measures is to get rid of harmful policies. You need to be able to open it up so that the general public can put in their two cents. The policies that are being created are to create this whole echo chamber within the homeless community, where as long as you talk about this and you do this, then you'll get everything that you want and everything that you need. And all of a sudden you're part of the good old boys club. And this is part of the policies that the government implements, because you've got these not-for-profits that are paying tens of thousands of dollars to get access to these politicians that will allow them to get legislation on the books that's going to benefit them without any consideration to the rest of us. Okay, and also the social service mandates should also be put in for to prevent homelessness. There are certain things when you start in the backslide, such as you have bad personality traits that are actually causing you more problems. My mom had this issue. She was a CNA in a nursing home for 21 years. But because she couldn't keep her mouth shut while she was watching her patients be abused, and my mom got very, very agitated to be nice about it, she got blackballed. She could not work in any of the different nursing homes around the city of Portland, because anytime she saw a patient being abused, she would step in and advocate for the patient. Okay, so there are bad personality traits that will keep us not only poor, but will also lead us, if a certain sequence of events goes on, will lead us to a point where we actually can be homeless. And so if we're able to see this and see this coming beforehand, because there's enough data, there's enough statistics, if you sit back and if you actually dive into it, you can find real solutions to homelessness. But there's too many good old boys that think that they're the only ones that know the solution to it, that are preventing any real solutions from being there. So instead of sitting there going, hey, you know what, maybe we should just put them all in camps and just be done with them. No, you haven't even explored all the options. You're not even really looking for solutions. You're just looking for a political win so you could go say, hey, look at me, I cleaned up homelessness. But did you really clean up homelessness? No, you did not. And so if you guys would like to read the entirety of my letter, come on over to my website, hobotuck.com, because with this video, the full letter will also be posted down below. If you guys find any value in this, please leave something down in my tip jar. Come on over and check out my memberships on Patreon. One of the things about being in this space is that I'm catering to the homeless. And the homeless don't really have a lot of money, but those of you that want to help the homeless and advocate for the homeless, I'm hoping that you see the value and the resource that I am, and that you sponsor me so that it indirectly helps the other homeless who would like this information that I have to put out, whether it be my hobo tutorials, my ass tuck, or the different things that I've done to show people how to be able to live comfortably while being homeless. All that's down in the description. Thanks for being here. I hope to see you in the next video.